Hey writers, if you don't know me, I'm author Brittany Wang, and I am so excited to be doing this collab video with fellow author tuber fiction technician, also known as Jane. And we are going to be sharing our list of 10 books we think every writer should read, right? And as many of you know, sometimes I have my collab videos here on the channel with me, sort of doing the live with me, but today we're going to do something a little different. Today I will be sharing 5 of my favorite writing craft books in this video, some of which are free right now or just 99 cents on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. But then you get to go over to Jane's channel, Fiction Technician, and you can check out her video for the other 5. So it's been really cool to get to know Jane. I think over the last few months or so, we've been talking more, and she is super nice, super knowledgeable, and her channel is filled with a bunch of practical writing tips, okay? If you love practical, if you love sort of seeing like the tips and the steps sort of outlined in text form, sort of like you're seeing here, and you also love, just being really practical and getting those examples, because she's really good at sharing those tips and then being like, for example, this book or this character or whatever. I really, really love that. So you're definitely gonna love Jane's channel. If you like all that stuff, make sure to subscribe to her after this and check out her video to get the other 5. But if you're with us right now, either live or on the replay, let us know somewhere in the comments what would be in your top 5 writing craft books. I might even pop them up on the screen here a little bit. And I'm just going to take a couple seconds to say hi to people who are here live. And if you're watching the replay, if you just want to skip a couple seconds, you'll get into the content. But Jane is here as well. So I'm just going to pop her up on here. And again, don't forget to check out her video after and her channel with all the amazingness. I also see Samantha, and she was telling us before the chat, sometimes I pop on here a little bit before my chats to chat with people who show up early. And so Samantha said Save the Cat is one of her favorite writing craft books. And also The Anatomy of Story, which I have, but I haven't read yet. So I'm super excited to check that out. I also see Amanda and Mary and Robin and Katie and Orla and Holly. And I did see JJ somewhere in here. JJ, here we are. And JJ's here too. And there's a bunch of you, and more people are showing up all the time. So I'm reading Story Genius at the moment, really liking it. That's another one on my list. And hi, Caitlin. Cool, yes, and Jane's just letting us know she's been looking forward to this all week, and so have I. So I'm going to get through my content in about a half an hour, and then we're gonna pop over to Jane's channel, and she is going to premiere her video, so we'll see her going on, but we'll also see her in the comments, and I'll be there as well. So I'm really excited. I see more Save the Cats, 5,000 words per hour, 5 secrets of story structure. Some of you are mentioning some of the ones I'm going to be talking about in more detail, and I'm super excited. Oh, hi Mary, hi Anne. Okay, let's get started. You guys can check out the comments. I'm just going to put them up on the screen so we don't miss anybody. But I want to get right into the content, okay? And surprise, surprise, if you've been on my channel at all, you know that I love Save the Cat Writes a Novel. And please stay with me because it's not the only book I'm going to be talking about. But basically what I'm going to do is tell you the title, who's it by, and then I'm going to give you 3 things that I really loved about the book, and then 3 types of writers I think this book would be really great for each of the books that I'm going to share. So let's get into it. Obviously, Save the Cat Writes a Novel is by Jessica Brody. And my favorite things about this book, I actually have some of these books in physical form. Some of them are in Kindle form. So that's why I have them on the screen. But Save the Cat Writes a Novel is awesome. You can see that I just have sticky noted it all over the place. And I love it because it is super practical. It has a very solid 15-beat story structure, which is modeled after the original Save the Cat book that was more for screenwriters. This is more for novelists. And so I loved the screenwriter. That was still like a really great book and just about storytelling in general. But this is really awesome, not only because it goes through the 15 beats of story structure, so you can have a really well-paced book that focuses on the character arc and sort of bringing them through that journey, but it also has this whole section, basically like the very chunky middle in here, where she goes over 10 different novels and uses them as examples, breaking them down so you can see how each of these best-selling novels uses this basically same structure and why it works and why it's awesome. And they're all in different genres. So that's what I really like about it too. So whether you write fantasy or whether you write thrillers or whether you write contemporary or romance or whatever, there is a book that is probably dedicated to you and your genre that you can check out and sort of see how it works out in action. Again, I love practical. I love like show me all like the details and how it really works, right? So in the beginning, it's actually like the first just couple chapters that she talks about the beats and how they function and how to use them. And she even starts more just with your main character and how all the beats depend on your main character and your hero and creating a strong main character. Then she gives you all the examples. And then the third part at the back is a bonus sort of questions answered section, so an FAQ. And some of the things she addresses in there are how to write a pitch or a synopsis for your book, addressing how to structure a novel that has multiple POVs, which I found really helpful. And then also a little bit about writing a series and how to plot a series. So I really, really liked that. And if you are any of these kind of writers, I think this book would be really helpful for you. So plotters, obviously this would be really great for plotters, very detailed story structure. But I also think that pantsers, and if you don't know what a pantser is, it's someone who writes by the seat of their pants and doesn't really start out with a fully fleshed out plan. They just have an idea and they start writing. This would be really great for you in the revision process. So if you want to pants your novel, write the draft, exploratory write, and then go back to this as more of a, okay, how can I sort of restructure some things or figure out where I have plot holes or different things and use this to really make my book even stronger. Jessica Brody sort of addresses that in the beginning too. So, and she encourages it for any readers, right? And then also, I thought it was really helpful if you struggle with character agency. So like your character or your characters in general usually lack a lot of like being the action force in the story or having a compelling arc. I felt like all of her tips in here are really, really good to help you do that effectively. And then also if you struggle with pacing in your book and really making that sort of flow well and not having like slow spots and knowing like when to transition to different things. She literally breaks down like, okay, at the 50% mark, this is your midpoint and this is what your midpoint's supposed to do. And at the 75% mark, I think that's the all is lost moment, I think. This is what's supposed to happen and this is why you should do it. And so I really like all those practical things. We'll get to other books for other people as well, but I just wanted to start with that one. And I'm just gonna, there's already a bunch of comments in here, so I'm just gonna take a quick peek. Mary says, absolutely love this book. It's my total favorite. I've even teaching my son who is in a novel class about story structure using this book. That's so fun. Cool, cool, cool. And Mary is a pantser and totally uses it. So there you go. You have another testimonial right there. Let's keep moving on though, because I want to make sure we get through everything in time and see if you guys have any questions. But the next book that I would definitely suggest is 5 Secrets of Story Structure. Now, I don't have a physical copy of this because it is free on Kindle, you guys, on Amazon. And as far as I know, it's pretty much always been free. I don't know if it will be free forever, but at the time of recording this video, it is free. And it is another, obviously, about story structure, another book about story structure. But here's some of the reasons I really like it. In addition to Save the Cat, I read Save the Cat first, and this is some of the reasons I really liked it as like sort of like a companion to it, even though totally different authors. K.M. Weiland takes a different take on some story beats. And so it's sort of like a fresh perspective. There's some similar things, some different things, and she expands on different aspects of story structure. So one of the things is she breaks down the midpoint even more than I think Save the Cat does. She calls it the moment of truth, and how she explained it I just thought was really helpful. So if you struggle with like the middle part of your book, this would be really helpful for you. And again, it's free, so like why not? The next thing is that she talks about 2 story beats that aren't talked about in Save the Cat called pinch points. And basically, if you know Save the Cat, there's like these big chunks right before the midpoint and right after the midpoint that Save the Cat calls the fun games and the bad guys close in. And they take a big chunk of your book, but they're sort of nebulous. They can be interpreted many different ways. And there wasn't a lot of like structure within Save the Cat to tell me like what I should have in there. And so what I loved about these pinch points is one pinch point is sort of within the fun and games, and the other pinch point sort of lives in the bad guys close in. And then Kim Weiland sort of talks about what to do before and after each of the pinch points, which sort of fleshes out, again, the fun and games and the bad guys close in. So I just found all of that really helpful. So if you are a writer who wants to learn a structure for free, you can definitely start here. You don't have to start with Save the Cat. It's definitely a great foundation. If you're struggling with your midpoint or the middle of your book, or the fun and games, the bad guys close in story beats, I think this would be really good. Yeah, I just loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I'm just gonna check in the comments here. Fiction Technician says, I have not read this and now I have to. I agree. You should totally read it. I also don't think I said this before, but all of these books are linked in my description below, so you can get to them really easily if you want to go check those out later. But don't leave yet, because we have 3 more to talk about, and I have a few bonuses. So this is the first bonus that I wanted to tell you about, because in addition to reading, I keep mixing that up. In addition to reading writing craft books, I think it's also really important to be aware as a writer as you're reading novels, okay? So I have a whole video on my channel that sort of teaches you how you can study story structure, especially if you've read Save the Cat or if you've read 5 Secrets of Story Structure. Now you have this structure in your head, or you have it written down. You can sort of as you read a novel, you can sort of look at the different beats and recognize them as they're happening. And especially because the different beats happen at like certain percentage marks, especially like things like the midpoint or, you know, the finale or different parts like that, you can sort of estimate where they're supposed to be in the book. Sorry, my husband's going in and out. Sorry if you hear loud noises. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed this video on my YouTube channel, How to Write Better Stories Using Your TBR or Your To Be Read List, is super fun. And it also breaks down how you can use sticky notes. I think I have an example here. With actually one of Jessica Brody's novels, where I used a sticky note to find where all the beats were supposed to be based on the percentages. And then as I was reading, I would come to a sticky note and be like, okay, is this beat happening here? Why is it working? Why is it not? And I tend to do that with a lot of the novels that I read. You can even do this with Kindle, because Kindle actually tells you when you get to certain percentage marks while you're reading the book, so you don't even have to put sticky notes into it. So this video, again, I don't know if I linked it below, but I will after this if I haven't, or you can search for it on my YouTube channel. Really, really helpful. And if you're a part of my Patreon or my mentorship group, which is at this link here, you also get 2 sort of resources with that. So you get my story structure cheat sheet, and that is sort of like a combination of the Save the Cat beats plus the 5 Secrets of Story Structure, and it's sort of like all put together already, and then you can use it for your novels or when you're studying another book. And then the other thing is a magic tool for writing better stories using your TBR, and that is like an Excel spreadsheet that literally you can put how long the book is that you're reading, and then it breaks it down telling you exactly what pages each beat is supposed to happen. So as you're reading a novel, you don't have to do all the math for you. You can just use this Excel spreadsheet to figure out where to put the sticky notes and then be golden and start reading your book and enjoying it. So yeah, so this is available to my patrons and my mentorship group. So if you would like to check that out, that is just another thing there. I'm just gonna take a look at the, just downloaded it. Awesome, glad you're downloading the books. And I'm halfway through this book. I think you're talking about 5 Secrets of Story Structure, really enjoying it, very helpful. And Mary says, I watched that video the other day. I'm doing that right now with Harry Potter. Yes, oh, I wanna hear about that. Mary's actually one of my wonderful patrons. So we've been able to also do a couple book clubs where we either take a writing craft book and we read it throughout the month, and then at the end of the month, we talk about what we learned and how we want to apply it to our writing, or we take a novel and we use some of these resources to figure out where the beats are, and then we talk about at the end of the month, how did this author use those beats, and was it effective, and what could have been better, and what did we love? And it's just been really, really fun. So, and just downloaded the 5 Secrets of Story Structure. I love it. I love it. You guys are like, I'm doing this right now. So that's amazing. And I'm glad you're not leaving, because we definitely have a few more things to talk about, a few more books to share. So definitely stick with us. But I just want to say, if you're enjoying this video, not only please like the video and leave a comment, but I would love for you to share a screenshot of this video right now and tag me at author Brittany Wang and share it on Instagram, and basically let everybody know that you're enjoying this video and that they should check it out later if they can't right now. And so if you want to sort of take a screenshot right now and share it on Instagram, that's sort of what this is for. And I thought this would just be really fun. I'd love to engage with you guys on Instagram if we're not friends already. So anyway, let's keep going. And my third recommendation is Wired for Story. And this actually was one of the books that my patrons and I studied for a month, and it was really fascinating. It's less of a structured formula writing craft kind of book, and it's more of a deep dive into the craft of writing, the actual writing and like storytelling with the words, and not so much with structure. So basically the catchphrase for this book is using brain science to hook your readers from the very first sentence. And so when I saw that, I was like, this is really interesting. I got to check this out. So here's, and I do have this book here. I'll pull it out for you guys. This was really, really good. So a few things that I like is that, and she talks about like so many different things in here, so I'm literally talking about only like 3 select things that I found really helpful. But I love that she talked about being really specific in your story, and not, because I tend to want to hold some things back sometimes and be like, no, wait, I don't want them to know that, or I don't want to be super specific, because then like I'll give things away. And what we don't realize as writers nowadays, especially because there's so many different books that people can be reading right now, is if you don't catch them within the first like chapter or so, like they're gonna move on. And I've done that to many a book. Sorry. So she was definitely just her tip. I can't explain it all right now. You just need to read the book. But when she talks about being specific and really sharing like those details, and why like don't feel like you need to like hold back all the time, like give us more and give us a sense of where you're going so we know if we want to keep on this journey. That was just like a real big revelation for me. So I'm trying to do that more in my writing. Also, she gives a lot of clarity on show don't tell. So if you are like, yeah, my beta readers, or I know like are telling me, or I know that I do a lot of telling and not as much showing, then this is a really good book for you. I really found a lot of practical help in here. And then also rethinking how you do a character bio. So even the free series Bible templates that I give to people when they sign up for my newsletter on my website, they have like so many details that you can fill out. But I loved Lisa Cron's approach to character bios, and that she says start with the character's backstory with their goal, and then figuring out how the backstory leads into their misbelief, which then shapes their character arc going forward. And then you can figure out, you know, color of their hair, or like all these different details about their backstory that like, you know, is extra that maybe you won't even include. But she's like, figure out the heart of the backstory of why they have the belief or the flaw that they have, and then build everything out from there. So I've really loved that. I'm really trying to do that more in my storytelling and plotting as well. Now, if you are a writer who wants a less formulaic approach than the first 2 books that I've mentioned, you might really enjoy this book. If you want a deeper dive into hooking your reader, I think it'd be really great. And then making characters and descriptions count. There was just a lot of good stuff in here about that as well. And I also wanted to let you know that right now, if you have the app called SCRIBD, which is basically like Netflix for ebooks and audiobooks, it's like one fee for the whole month, and then you get access to like all their ebooks and audiobooks. Right now, you can listen to Wired for Story on SCRIBD. And I wanted to let you know this too, one, if you have SCRIBD, but also I have a referral link down in the description where you can get SCRIBD for 60 days for free. So it's 2 months of SCRIBD for free. And so you could even try it out and cancel it before the 2 months are up, and you can listen to Wired for Story for free. So I wanted to give that to you guys in case you wanted to check it out. JJ is another one of my patrons. She loved going through Wired for Story with us as well. Another person just downloaded 5 Secrets of Story Structure. That's great. Cam Weiland also has a ton of really helpful resources on her website, so you should definitely check her out. And ooh, Mary, I'm hoping to write a blog post series on reading like a writer. Yes. Oh, that's so exciting. Wired for Story sounds really interesting. I'll have to check it out. I'm just like you and wanting to hold things back from the reader. I definitely need to get better at that. Yes. And you don't know how much you do it until you start having beta readers or critique partners starting to tell you what is going on. Like, you know, I need more intrigue. I need to know what's going on. Amanda is just putting in a plug that she loves SCRIBD. So do I. I'm pretty much addicted to it. And then Caitlin said, I listened to Wired for Story via audio and it was great. And yeah, sometimes you get like audio readers and they're not so great, but like I really enjoyed this audiobook reader. I thought she was really good. Cool. So let's move on to I can't even remember what number this is. And sorry, Jane, if you're you're watching and you're like, wait, she didn't talk about this. I did substitute this one last minute. I hope that's okay. But I love the Emotional Thesaurus series. This is a series of books that focuses on different trouble spots a writer might have. So for example, if you're struggling with communicating character emotions in a compelling way and sort of showing versus telling, you might want to get the Emotional Thesaurus. That's the first and original book that they have. And then I also got the Rural Setting Thesaurus because I write more fantasy. And there's also an urban setting thesaurus. But basically, I really love that there's an opening guide to each book that sort of is more like writing craft advice and thoughts and helpful examples. But then there is pretty much the whole rest of the book is like this. I just opened to the page that said bathroom in the in the rural setting. Let's look at the Emotion Thesaurus. So so for the emotion of satisfaction, there's like all of these like glossary terms and like ways that you can show your character having satisfaction instead of just saying she was satisfied. So I really like that. Obviously, these are the 2 books that I purchased that I've been going through, but there's many more, some of them on negative traits and positive traits for your characters, which I'm looking at investing in later. But these are great if you're having trouble with descriptions, showing versus telling, and you want to focus on specific trouble spots. You can get whatever book is most helpful for you. Okay, I want to make sure we end on time. So I'm going to go through this video and then wrap up and check any last minute comments, and then we'll go over to Jane's channel. But this is 5,000 words per hour, and this is by Chris Fox. And he also has a YouTube channel you should check out if you haven't already. But his basic thing for this book, I have it as an ebook, and it's a super quick read, which makes sense because his whole thing is how to write more words faster. And basically, he believes that you can develop a skill to actively improve your how many words you write per hour with his steps. I have not gotten to 5,000 words per hour, but I've definitely used his steps to increase how many words I write per hour. So practical steps to writing more faster. The book is short, it's easy to read, it's repeatable. The process is repeatable and scalable. So again, you can improve a little bit, keep improving, keep improving. And then it is only 99 cents right now on Amazon. So again, as per the recording of this video, that's how much it is right now. So cheap and really helpful book you could pick up. Helpful for writers who want to write more faster, easy. And then tricks and mindset to keep writing even if you get stuck. So here's another thing, like if you're the type of person that you're like, I can't finish a draft because I get stuck and, you know, I get in my own head and I get writer's block. He sort of talks about how to like just keep writing, keep going so you can finish that draft and move on to like more of the revising stages. So I really appreciate this book. It's definitely a book that I need to like go back to because I read it a while ago and I feel like I need to refresh myself. But this was a really great book. You should definitely check out. Whoa, I just skipped ahead. I just wanted to mention a couple honorable mentions. So Book Architecture by Stuart Horwitz and Creating Character Arcs by Cam Weiland again were 2 other really good books. I'm not going to talk about them in detail, but just wanted to mention them. And also, if you get SCRIBD, not only can you listen to Wired for Story, but you can also read the ebook of Creating Character Arcs right now. Like I said, as the timing of this video today, I did check on SCRIBD. I checked all of these books, and those were the two that were either in audiobook format or ebook format for you. So that's awesome. And then I had some books that I really want to read next. So Story Genius is the next book that Lisa Cron wrote. And so I have that ready and prepped to read. And again, she wrote Wired for Story as well. And then John Truby, The Anatomy of Story, which someone mentioned in the beginning as well. So I'm really excited to dig into those. I might do them as book clubs for Patreon. So that would be cool. So as we wrap up, I'm so excited. We're actually going to finish on time, guys. As we wrap up, definitely let us know which will you read next. Let us know in the comments, or or what other books do you recommend? And I think I took screenshots. I asked this on Instagram as well. And let's see, Equestrian 636 said The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Mavia writes and reads, sorry if I'm pronouncing your guys' names wrong, The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. Okay. How to Outline Your Novel by Cam Weiland. So there's another Cam Weiland book, and that was from Allie Ernest Wrights. Author Anne McTavish. Sorry again, I'm trying to like read fast, guys. Make a Scene. It's called Make a Scene by Jordan Rosenfeld. And then How Not to Write a Novel by Howard Middlemark. We had Save the Cat by Mary, who is author m.elizabeth on Instagram. And then Wright Holly Davis said Save the Cat, Emotional Craft of Fiction and Self-Editing for Fiction Writers. I definitely need to read that one next. I'm just also going to say to remind you to go to part 2. She is, Jane, if you're watching this live, Jane is going to be premiering her video in 3 minutes. So we're going to wrap up. I still want to read some of your comments, and then we're going to jump over there. But if you search Fiction Technician on YouTube, you can check her out, and her link to her video is going to be down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm going to hang out with you guys a little bit more for the comments. But yeah, this has been really fun. I hope this was helpful. So many comments. Mostly you guys saying that this looks really fun, and more love for the Emotional Thesaurus. I love these books. They're so helpful. Yay. So useful. I'm reading the Emotional Thesaurus right now on ebook. I still have to get the Setting Thesaurus. Yes. I have the entire set and updated Emotional Thesaurus. Oh, that's awesome. JJ has all of them. Definitely worth the investment, Robin says. Would be amazing to write 5K in an hour. I know, right? Something to aspire to. For sure. I think sprints make writing so much faster. Yeah, and there's definitely like his whole thing is sort of centered around increasing writing sprints. Chris's book has been so helpful for Mary. I read this on your recommendation, Brittany, and it completely fired me up. I'm all on it. Yes. Awesome. I can't wait to read Story Genius. It's actually my textbook for my next class. So fun. You have the best classes, Amanda. How many words can you usually write in an hour? I think my best was like 1,000. Yeah, same. So I'd love to break that and go forward. Voiced by James Scott L. Love it. Writer's Guide to Character Traits must have. I'm trying to get through Wired for Story, but struggling. Yeah, if you can listen to it on SCRIBD, so much easier. And then they have another book coming out very soon in the series. Oh, I didn't know that. I believe it's Occupations. That sounds like a really good one. I have to check that out. You're so welcome, Dania. Dania is another one of my patrons. You guys, this has been so fun. And I hope you got a lot out of it. Now let's all go to Jane's. Again, it's linked in the description below. And I'm actually going to be back next week for another short live stream. I'll be announcing on my Instagram when it will be, what it will be about, so that you all can hang out with me again. So make sure you're subscribed and be friends with me on Instagram, and I'll let you know all the details. You guys are so welcome, and we'll see you over on Jane's channel. Bye!